Hello, this is Jason from JK. We're lucky enough to get onto this big lobster, Southern Rock Lobster, the other day. It is enormous, as you can see there, close to 3.7 kilos. Now, we pulled this one out of the cave, bare hands. Pretty tough to get out. We got it out, and now I'm going to show you how to clean it up. We're going to make a lobster linguine out of this at beautiful Wedge Island here. So I'm just going to run through how we clean up a lobster. Now this one here, 3.7 kilos male. We've cut the fin off here just to show when you catch a recreational lobster you need to cut it off, just so fisheries know that it's not going to be sold commercially, because if they saw it in the market and had a cut off tail, they know it's recreationally caught. You can also tell it's male because it only has one of the plepods here, and also has these dots which help with, I think, holding eggs or something or other. Whereas I've got a female over here, you can see it has the dual plepods, and also has those two dots on the third leg. So that's the difference, and that's where the females hold the eggs. So first step of cleaning up a cray, we want to make use of all the meat. So there's meat in the legs, there's meat in the antennas, and most of the meat in the tail, a bit in the head. First step is we're going to break off the antenna. We're going to remove the algae from the poo chute. So I grab an antenna, and as you can see here, there's spines that retract back. When you place them up the poo chute, it'll go in smoothly, then it should pull on the poo chute and pull it out in one smooth motion. It's a bit harder with the bigger ones, but if I push that up as far as I can go, right to the top, it'll maximize its grip. The small part, pull it out, and you should, like that, be able to get most of it out. And there it is there. There's probably a little bit more up in there. It doesn't always work perfectly, but it actually works better with the smaller lobsters, I've found. The next step is we're going to remove the tail. So doing so, we'll flip it around. I use a knife as long as the carapace. This is the carapace here. Because it's a big lobster, I'm using a big knife. What you want to do, you want to get up in under the carapace there, push out as far as you can to try to dislodge. There's muscles that join the meat to the carapace, and sort of work your way along it, right to the edge. Work your way all the way along it, and that'll loosen it up, and then we can flip it over and do the same on the other side. Once again, as far in as you can go, pretty much until that handle disappears. Dislodge it as far as we can. And there we go, it's pretty loose now, but we should be able to twist it, and look at that, all that meat comes out. And see, that's the poo chute that I didn't get. It's quite a long one, but that would normally slide out with the antenna. That's all right, it slid out well then, because I half did it. And that's that meat, even that top meat there that was lodged right up in the carapace, we'll be able to get that out with the long knife. And we should see that we've got pretty minimal meat in there. Look, now we've got the tail out there. We've got the carapace, which has minimal meat inside it, and the antennas and the legs. Now, I'm no professional, but this is how I like to do it, to try to maximize the yield from the antennas. You could, a lot of people serve the cray up whole, which is great, on a Christmas table, but people do then have to pull the legs out. I like to present it a different way, and you see how I present it. But the antennas, so once again, we got two thick antennas full of meat. This part of the antenna that I used before the poo chute doesn't have necessarily any meat in it, but in this softer part here, we can get our knife right up in there, cut through it as much as we can. This in there. Once again, same here. In there. I'll try to cut down a bit, makes it easier to remove it. Cut down a bit into it, crack a bit there, sort of dislodges it. And then once again, classic thing, flip it around, do the same thing on the other side. I get under this plate here, you can see it's chompers in there, big chompers, there its teeth there. Big molars, yeah, deadly. Keep your fingers away from that. Same thing, get in there. If it's alive, it is, get in there. Get in there. Obviously this is a big cray, so it takes a bit more effort, and it's normally not as hard as this, but we're getting in there. So so just because of the size of it, I had to work it hard, get a knife down there to cut all the way through it, to get all the way through it. You can see the meat out here. So if I get my thumb in there, I can sort of wiggle it out and pull the one horn out and pull the next one off. So you get a bit of meat off the end there, and then inside it's, yeah, there's a heap of meat in there. So, and that is actually sweeter, just like your legs on your crabs and the claws. Same with the lobster, the legs and the horns are sweeter meat and it tastes better. So it's always good, don't throw them away, use them, make the most of it. So last thing is, if we remove the carapace, we can actually do that. Depending on this, we can get our fingers under the carapace and you should be able to rip that off, which will open up there. See there, as we said before, with the long knife, we're able to get in underneath it and cut away all that meat, which is into the tail. So that's all clean, there's not much meat left in there. I'll leave that out. Then you got the gills here, which yeah, they're the things you definitely don't want to eat, because that's what filters, obviously, and they breathe through, so it has a lot of normally bacteria in it. So dislodging that, normally I cut along the side here and remove those gills. And there we have it, we remove those gills. I'll just cut along the edges here, remove them, and there we got all that meat in there, and then the legs. Even you can see in the joint there's meat through it, and then normally I even either boil that up, and people can sort of just garlic butter, boil it up, then put garlic butter over that, present it well, and people can just rip off legs and go their hardest. Bit of a messy job eating this. I normally serve this as the entree with a couple of horns as a little appetizer, and then yeah, the main feast will be, you could split that in half, do a garlic butter, I do a lobster linguine. You can do all sorts with it, but yeah, entree, then your main there. But thanks for watching, guys, and go out and get some crays. Try to grab them by hand as well. It's the way to do it. You.